must find me.
从此，林克开始了他的不务正业，不是研究之路。
An apple a day keeps Link delay.
Link, you must find me. Blink. Blink. You must find me, find me, find me.